Have you ever wondered what the most cruel execution methods are? That is a crazy question to ask. Like the last video, if you haven't seen that one, go watch it. But, have you? And if you haven't, but you're wanting to learn, you clicked the right video. Because today, that is what we're going to be talking about. 5 of the most cruel execution methods. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 5. Death by 1,000 cuts. Originally from China, this was one of the most brutal execution methods ever fashioned. It was in use roughly from the year 900 until it was banned in 1905. And this was a punishment reserved only for the harshest of crimes, such as treason and whatnot. During this procedure, a sharp knife was used to kill the criminal, gradually removing portions of their flesh over a long period of time, and the victim was tied to a wooden frame, usually in a public place. The flesh was then sliced from the body, at first only from the victim's chest and other things. Then his limbs were gradually amputated, following by the ears, nose, and genitalia. After 10 to 20 minutes, the victim was decapitated and or stabbed in the heart. During the execution, opium was sometimes administered as an act of quote-unquote mercy. Number 4. Sawing. Sawing in half was an incredible, cruel execution method used mostly in medieval Europe. During the process, the criminal would be hung upside down from a tree or gallows, and a large saw would then be used to slice their body in half, starting with the crotch all the way to the chest and the head. While some victims were cut completely in half, most of them were only sliced up to their abdomen, prolonging their agony. Because the victims were hung upside down, the brain was receiving sufficient blood flow to keep them alive and conscious until the saw finally reached the main arteries in the abdomen. In extreme cases, this execution could last several hours. Number 3. Impalement. Impalement on a pole was one of the most gruesome methods of execution, often used during the Middle Ages. The criminal was forced to sit on a thick, sharpened wooden pole. The pole was then slowly raised upright, and the criminal was left to gradually slide further down the pole only by their own weight. The pole then emerged through the victim's chest, shoulder, or neck. Sometimes it could take more than 3 days for a person to finally die in a slow and painful way. Impalement was especially prevalent in the 15th century Romania during the reign of Vlad Dracula, which everybody knows who Dracula is, commonly known as Vlad the Impaler. He reportedly executed more than 80,000 people this way, and often enjoyed having a meal while watching them die. In an East Asian variant of this execution method, the victim was securely tied in place above a yarn bamboo shoot. Over the course of several days, the sharp, rapidly growing bamboo shoot would puncture and completely penetrate the victim's body, eventually emerging through the other side. This method of execution was allegedly practiced in the 19th century China and Malaysia, and even during the World War II by Japanese soldiers. Number 2. Flaying. Skinning alive, also known as flaying, was one of the most gruesome execution methods ever conceived, especially prevalent during classical antiquity. It was used mostly on captured soldiers and dangerous criminals. The Aztecs of Mexico often flayed their war prisoners during ritual human sacrifices. There are also many indications of ancient Assyrians flaying the defeated rulers of their enemies and nailing their skin to the city walls as a warning to all potential rebels. In most used methods of flaying, a person's hands were tied above their head, while the executioner gradually cut off all of their skin using a knife starting at the face. Often attempts were made to keep the skin intact. Another method involved severely burning the victim and then gradually peeling their skin off. In the year 415, Hypatia of Alexandria, famous female mathematician and philosopher, was allegedly flayed alive by an enraged Christian mob using sharp oyster shells. Finally, at number 1, the boats. This incredibly cruel method of execution originates from ancient Persia. The criminal was contained inside a pair of narrow rowboats, or in some variations in a large wooden tub, with their head, hands, and feet protruding outside from the container. The person was then forced to ingest large amounts of milk and honey until developing a severe diarrhea. A mixture of honey and milk was also rubbed on the exposed parts of their body, attracting flies and other insect species. Then he was left afloat on a still pond or lake. The defenseless person's fecal matter slowly accumulated within the container, attracting more flies, which ate and bred within their exposed and increasingly gangrenous flesh. The person was then repeatedly fed each day to prevent fatal dehydration and starvation, often prolonging the torture to several days or even weeks. Death, when it eventually occurred, was caused by a combination of various factors, most often because of septic shock, starvation, or dehydration. And that is going to do it. So, very dark. Obviously, that's like my whole channel. But, if you guys enjoyed this video, and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like. That helps me to know. And, if I earned your subscription, make sure to subscribe. We are on our way to 150 subscribers before the end of the year. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you all in my next video.